Welcome to the CFG Game Cast episode number 159, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Fridays and release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love, give us a follow, a like, a comment, what have you on any podcast services out there, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
I'm getting over this simulated flu stomach thing. I could only do 2 streams this week. I was not sleeping for like 2 days in a row, and I was like crying at him. I'm like, I just want to sleep and I can't sleep. I can't do anything about it. So I played some Labyrinthine, of course. But I was falling asleep last night playing Labyrinthine. So I was like, what? Yeah, I could not. I was like trying to like do it, and I couldn't. Like, no matter how big I held my eyes open, I was like, I gotta call it. But we were kind of chit-chatting in the chat, and I was like, you know what? Every night and every morning I check my Dreamlight Valley. I'm gonna check it, and you guys can watch me Dreamlight Valley for a minute. And then I kept Dreamlight Valleying until it was like midnight, and I was like, oh shit. So yeah, so and then on Tuesday, I think we played Dead by Daylight, which we hadn't played in like forever. And that was nice to get back into it. And of course, we tried to play some Labyrinthine after, but of course, the monster I wanted to see with his Christmas lights, he wasn't available. Sad. But yeah, other than that, I've just been getting the kids ready for the Make-A-Wish that's happening next week, because my goddaughter is having her Make-A-Wish granted here in Las Vegas. And it's, I think, the 2,500th wish granted here locally. Nice. And so it's going to be like a whole thing. Yeah. So it's exciting. And people are like, oh, you get a staycation. Yeah, but I have 2 children who are both sick that I have to watch over the whole time. So is it really a staycation? I mean, unless they're giving me a massage, that'd be lovely. I doubt it,
Never say never. You're going to be at a hotel. You probably means, so it's possible. It's very possible.
Maybe. I told her I'd give her a piggyback ride to go see the flamingos over at the Flamingo Casino, because she's never seen them. And I'm like, you'll like them until you smell them.
Flamingos don't exist. Is that what you said?
No, I said the flamingo doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
The casino?
Yes.
Stop it.
That does not exist, Lex. It is turned into the link. Imperial Palace and the Flamingo, I think, right? Didn't the Flamingo...
The Flamingo is across the street.
What? Flamingo Casino Hotel. Let's see. Hey, simple Google challenge.
Hold on.
All right, he's gonna take a look at that.
I'm looking it up.
I was there I feel like it was a couple weeks ago.
Flamingo Las Vegas Casino Hotel. It's still around.
It's still around? All right, I'm tripping. It was Imperial Palace. It's
Imperial Palace is across the street. Yeah.
Wait, from the Flamingo? Yeah. For real? Mm-hmm. I have no idea where the Flamingo is.
So like, here's Las Vegas Boulevard. Like, Caesar's Palace is here. Flamingo is here. Imperial Palace is here. Like on the 4 corners. Does that make sense?
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
So the link is across from it. I know what you're saying. There is a cut through if you park at the Flamingo, though, to get over to the link, because that's a 20 goddamn minute walk. But no, I told her I was going to give her a piggyback ride so she could see the flamingos, because they've got a big flamingo exhibit. And you can go and you can watch them feed and stuff. And she was like, oh, but they look and they're beautiful and like birds smell good. And I'm like, not these ones. I
don't know.
No idea.
Do birds smell good? Where'd she?
Yes, parrots smell really good.
Really?
I don't believe that.
When they breathe out and they smell like cologne.
I don't believe that at all whatsoever.
Google it.
Ever since I see birds crap on their legs just to keep themselves cool. I'm not doing that. I'm not falling for that nonsense.
No. I'm not saying that their poop smells good. I'm saying like when you're holding the bird and it breathes out if you breathe in. Like their internal, like whatever.
I don't
want to
be that close to a bird.
I'm not going to be that close to a bird. Yeah.
Well, if it's your pet bird, you're kissing it. You know what I'm
Breathe
saying?
into my mouth.
No. Like you're nose to nose with like your personal parrot. But I've had friends who have parrots, and I've been held one, and I was like, oh my God, did you put cologne on your parrot? And they're like, no, that's just how she smells. Like that's what her breath smells like. I'm like,
interesting.
What? And she goes, they all smell different. And then she brings me the African gray. He smells different than the galah I just smelled. The cockatiel smells different. Like they all smell different.
Birds freak me out. I'm not gonna lie. They're
know.
too unpredictable.
They're
too unpredictable.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If I see a bird that's inside a room, I'm not going in that room. As simple as that. That's just what it is. That's just me.
They'll be able to smell. They'll be able to smell.
Hold up. Seven Figure says, I don't even kiss my pet dog. Now, I don't kiss her on the mouth. That's only for the cat, because the cat like hates it. But I kiss her on the forehead all the time. But she saved my life a bunch, so maybe that's different. I don't know. But Adam lets her kiss her on the mouth. I'm like, y'all are gross.
I don't no dogs. I do not let my let dogs.
Does he use the excuse that dogs' mouths are cleaner than humans?
No.
The optimist, the justifiable.
It's more or less like she's like, I'm just being cute, and he's like, oh, you know. But she'll lick me on the cheek every once in a while, and that's the closest she gets. We get mouth to mouth.
Is Smitty and I overreacting? I mean, are y'all like the same? I mean, I just want to know if in the chat, would y'all let a bird get close to you like that? Because I sure as hell will not. Let alone parrots. Parrots freak me out.
I've had a parrot on me and stuff like that. I could do it, but like something about their beaks, certain birds' beaks and stuff like that, and like they are like, you don't know what they're thinking. You can't even get a read on a bird at all. You know what I mean? Like I can look at an animal and be like, all right, dude, like this thing looks pissed off or whatever. Like a bird, like just looks like a bird, and all of a sudden just like, you're just like,
it's all in there. They do have a body language, and you just have to know what to look for, and like in their eyes and stuff. Their eyes, like their pupils will dilate, and that's how you can read them. But the trick is, if a bird bites you, you do not pull away, and you do not make a peep. You make it look like it's not a big deal. I grew up with birds at my grandpa's house, so I'm used to them.
No.
I have a cat that I can't tell if it's mad all the time or what. So my dad's cat, I think that thing hates me.
I think that overall, I just think that, like, you know what? I mean, I'm cool. Like, for instance, you see, like, have you ever seen like an owl, for instance? You're right. Because like an owl's different. Looks like are going to freaking kill you in your sleep. They don't think
feathers are like this, you know? Horrible. So of course it looks mad. It looks like a cartoon.
They look at you like, even like barn owls and stuff have like that straight look, and then they always that intense look, and you're like, man, this thing, if it had a choice and had a chance it will slit my throat where I stand right now.
I'm not talking about predators, but I do want an owl.
No,
I don't trust
I am not. Yeah,
I don't trust birds.
Up. It's like saying, do you guys walk wearily by parks when there are swans and geese around? You know what? I was attacked by a
geese?
By some ducks like a long time ago, like because in a Lions Club park, because like I think it dropped like a baseball or something nearby the pond, and then we're trying to pick it up, but then the ducks were, the ducks just had their eggs, so they're defending their thing. So and these things go freaking psycho, like on it. And then I was telling my brother, forget the ball, get the F out, get the F out. Like we're like running away like this, but this duck is like trying to come after us still, like 2 or 3 of them. It's like we're just like we're throwing stuff at them alone. It was ridiculous. We just it's funny. Abort.
Yeah, well, you gotta remember, ducks don't actually have teeth; they have grinders. It doesn't hurt at all. But I mean, Smitty, he says he's not very good at reading animal body language. He knows what Opie's trying to tell him all the goddamn time.
No, not animals, birds specifically.
Oh, yeah,
that's what creeps me out about them. Is that I can't read them.
It's in their pupils. Like when they dilate, like they're happy.
See, I don't know anything about any of that stuff.
When they pull their wings up, or if they start singing, they're happy.
That's too much.
See, we had a parakeet at one point in time as a kid, and it was a dick. It would like bite you and stuff. Like I was like, nah, dude. Like, not for me.
But it's probably because it was a small bird. Because the small ones are the ones that just like to nibble or just a small peck or something at you. But that one's not as bad. But when you see a freaking parrot that has these grinders of a freaking beak, and then did you see what they do with like walnuts?
But they're smart though. Parrots are smart. So like parrot doesn't really freak me out. It's other things like if I encountered a stork, I would be terrified. Because that thing not only has like that thing's basically flying around. Wait, is it a stork? Not a stork. I'm sorry. What's the one? Like some of them have really sharp beaks. Pelicans freak me out. Turkeys are assholes.
I have kicked a wild turkey because turkeys are mean. It was trying to mate with me. Like it was doing the mating dance. Like he was puffing up and like like freaking out. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Finally, I had to kick him. Dressed up
as the gobbledygook.
No, it's my hair. Like as a regular, like when my hair was my natural strawberry blonde color. I don't know what it is, but like they freaking. God damn it. I was like, if I had a gun right now, I would put you on a table.
I had my uncle had a pet turkey when back in Nigeria, and that thing lived to like 20. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
That thing, but it was huge. It was huge. Turkeys. But really? that's the only exception of a turkey that I love is that specific turkey. That turkey was so laid back and he was so spoiled. So he didn't do turkey things. So he was just because he knew food was coming to him, and then he pulled whatever he wanted. It's like he has female turkeys right there. He's like, I don't need to move. I'm good. I'm just like, I don't need to do shit. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So
Adam saw a fancy chicken for the first time this week and was like, "What is that?" I was like, "We should get some." He was like, "Yes." So,
oh my god.
I don't even know what a fancy chicken is.
I don't even know either. It's like a rotisserie? I don't know.
No.
He says rotisserie.
They look like they've got like the David Bowie hair on top.
Has like 11 spices.
I know what you're talking.
Oh my god.
CFG Birdcast.
Yes. We're going around the world. All the birds that we hate so much. But anyways, Lex.
Yeah.
Do you know the person that actually loves flamingos?
I do. His name is
the 5-star general of the the 5-star general of the
CFG Game Cast.
Wow.
Smitty committee. I got Smitty the third C. What's going on? That's how you know I'm out of it, man.
Show of the year.
That's how you know I'm out of it.
Doing well. The part that you're missing is that they just got gobbled on. But it is going well. It's been a week like we've all talked about, and I'm glad that the week is over and I'm ready to sleep and I'm gonna try to not do much. I really can't though, because I know the game awards are out here, or the esports awards. I'm sorry, not the game awards. The esports awards starts this Sunday out here, so it goes Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is the actual award show. But there's
the awards is a 3-day show.
The awards, yes, it's like a 3-day event. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I know there's like a pro-am golf thing, pro celeb thing going on Sunday. I don't know what else. And then Monday's a big day. So I'll be down there all day Monday and or however long the thing is. And then there's stuff that night. And then the award show is Tuesday that evening. So
wow, dude,
we'll go down there.
Crazy.
Yeah, but I'm probably like, I'm not gonna just attend the award show. Like the idea is to hopefully get some interviews, and we're basically gonna try to record that stuff so we could just do wraparounds, so that we can also take a kind of a break ish, from doing interviews for LAN parties as well.
For a little bit, yeah,
and just kind of coast out the rest of the year. That's basically the goal, is to coast out the rest of the year.
I don't blame you, man.
I really don't either, man. Like,
we were hard in the paint, dude. Christ. From TwitchCon, dude. Like, I was working like 7 days a week for like a month and a half straight. So like, I am just so done. We went to Canada. A lot has happened. So, it's like,
oh,
yeah, which I had so much poutine. Again, I'll talk about it every time because like it was so good. There's so many different varieties.
I really want to go. Like when I go to Canada, I'm just going to. I really want to try it at least once or so.
Yeah.
But But yeah, definitely gonna try it next year. Hopefully, is my goal.
I have to double check that. Fragile
so much
asked
poutine
so much
from where.
Yeah, I can't remember. I met up with Sugar Cube down there in Vancouver area, and he took me downtown, and there was a spot down there. He was like, "This is the best poutine out here." And then we went to some sports bar place, and then we went to some other at a mall. There was a poutine place, or not a poutine place. It was a place that served poutine, but I got it every time.
That if someone says that, it's like that's Canadian fighting words.
What?
In my opinion. It's like, oh, it's the best. This is the best poutine here in Canada. It's like,
I mean, dude, like I forgot how
so much. There's so much places. I bet.
I know. Like, that's why I had to try it. It was pretty good.
I feel like that's like soul food. I really do. It looks like soul food. Something that you would see like that just gives you straight itis immediately.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, if I could viably live off of poutine, I would. It's got everything I love: meat, potatoes, cheese, gravy. What?
Is it great? What kind of gravy?
There's different kinds of gravies.
They're all different depending on where you get it.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice.
And depending on what style.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
It is very, very crazy.
What about you though, Davis? Other than being sick boy.
Yeah, I know, right? I've been bedridden all week, pretty much. So like I went to a convention on Saturday. Went to Anime Frontier, and in Fort Worth area. Had a good time there. Got to talk to a lot of different people and stuff. And got the chance to get their contacts for Pop Culture Gems. So definitely looking forward for like next year for that. That's my goal. But then after that, did a lot of extra content, just talking and was planning on doing a lot of editing. But then like on Monday, it just hit me all at once, and then like I couldn't breathe in my like breathing, like I can still have the issue of sleeping. So I haven't been getting enough sleep this whole week. So decided, you know what? I'm not going to stream, not going to try anything because I feel like it's way too unpredictable.
We're the no sleep club, buddy.
Yeah. It's just unpredictable for me to stream to see if I just fall asleep or something in the middle of it or whatnot. And I just wanted to try to get as much as I can. So, but I did play some more Ragnarok. So I wanted to platinum it, in which I did. So then platinumed God of War Ragnarok while I was kind of on my downtime, and then
hey Davis, you know who didn't platinum Ragnarok?
I know, right?
His name is
the Foster
General of the itty bitty CFG Games Committee.
Jesus Christ!
You're welcome. Sorry, I had to shut up, Lex.
Yeah, it's been but other than that, it's like it's been a pretty crappy week for the most part. So hopefully we will get something get it better. Did you guys see the flute guy from the Steam Game Award? Yes, I did. That guy was
the game of the year. He was the game of the year. Flute guy.
I was surprised. Okay, so that guy was playing with a soprano flute, a regular flute, and a bass flute, and he was transitioning
not a soprano flute
song.
So we talked about this last night on stream, and it was actually it was a Irish whistle.
Irish whistle?
It was an Irish whistle. That's what we came up. That's what we concluded to. A soprano flute is still played on the side. This has a mouthpiece. But there is a soprano flute that actually that you could do straight down, that also is straight down. We couldn't find anything.
Yeah, it's small. It's but it's not as But I will admit this was bigger. What he was playing was bigger than what I've seen before.
No, that was a contrabass flute.
Yeah, No, the bass flute was the curved one. Was the one when he was fluent on the side that was curved outwards that way. So like I was just like
No, that was an alto flute.
No, that's not an alto.
I think it is.
No, that's a bass flute, bro.
No, the contrabass flute. The contrabass flute is much bigger than that. I'm telling you, we looked it up. We looked it up, and you're wrong, and I'm right.
There's no way because I'm always
that is an alto flute. The contrabass flute. I will show you.
C flute is right here.
Flute is huge.
This is a C. This is
a contrabass flute. I don't know why you don't believe me, Davis. You could have spared yourself this embarrassment, but yes, it was an alto.
He had though.
What?
The curve. This one with the curved
that was not what he was playing.
Dude, if we look at the back of the tape, once we're done with the podcast,
this is
look at the back of the tape.
Again, this is the alto flute. Here, this is what he was playing.
The alto flute.
The alto flute.
Do the same thing. Alto flute. Let's see. Dude, this thing looks long too.
You're long. Hold on, let me just. If you haven't seen it, Flute Guy was amazing.
I'm looking at it right now. John C. Riley. What's his name? John C. Riley or something? Oddly enough, his name is John C. Riley.
That is not his name. His name is Pedro Eustache. Dache?
Seven Figures says it was actually a double bass triple trumpet with an axle.
Instrument fight.
Instrument fight.
I
only ever played the basic flute in high school. There are so many kinds. Yeah. I played. Oh my god. Okay, so I was originally a woodwind. I played clarinet, then I played then I switched over to a bass clarinet. Then I played to a contrabass clarinet. Then I played an E flat contrabass clarinet, and then I switched over to brass. So I switched over to tuba, an E flat tuba, and then to a euphonium. So then, when I was switching over,
was all over the gamut. I played saxophone, I played bassoon, I played bass guitar, and a little bit of percussion.
That's the one thing I wanted to play was guitar so badly. I don't know why I never did. I should have. What'd you say, Lex?
Anything that has a reed, I can play it. Essentially, we were nasty, and we all switched instruments in band in elementary school. Yeah, we would switch reeds out, but yeah, if it's got a reed, I can play it. So, but no, cello and upright bass were my two big instruments.
If it didn't have strings, I didn't touch it. There you go. I hated strings. Double E, the double string bass. Oh my god, I hated that thing.
But Flute Guy was definitely the highlight of the Game Awards.
Yeah, that dude was all happy, all moving over. He was all like, "It's like, man, that boy is going."
His hair alone, dude. I couldn't stop looking at it. I was like, that is glorious. Like he was going so hard. Like he brought all the hype.
That was actually pretty nice. That was actually a pretty good ending.
I'm trying to see. Are they going to show him again?
They do.
Oh, there he is. Oh, hell yeah.
They did a lot of it that time.
That is a contra flute.
What?
A bass. We're talking about dude. That's a bass flute. That is not an alto.
No way.
That is like I'm telling you.
Look at it.
That's a bass flute.
Look how long that is. That is not a bass flute. That is an alto flute.
Okay.
If you look at the neck, of a contrabass, it's almost like formed into like a figure four or something like that.
Fucking life.
Yeah, he is.
So happy. It's like Richard Simmons took his essence and put it into this flute man.
Okay, agreed to disagree. Let's just get this party started, man. I know y'all don't want to be talking about about Flute Wars 2022.
But we do want to talk about Flute Guy.
Yeah, let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion through the previous week in the world of video games. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry. But since this is our last episode of the year, we're going to be throwing in a little bit of a twist as always. So every year we traditionally like to just think we'd like to look back in the previous year, and each of us chooses our best our favorite games of the year. So we made distinctive rules that someone broke already. but
me?
Hey, I didn't say anything. But
shut up.
So basically, we choose three games, three of our favorite games that we had this year. And then also we're going to throw in a little bit of a twist. We're also going to throw in the game that was actually one of the most disappointing games of the year, too, in our own opinions and why. And we also want you, the listeners, on twitch.tv/CFG to be a part of the conversation. So if there is a game of the year that you have personally, just type inside chat, tell us why, and we would love to find out. Like I just saw earlier, Seven Figures said he only played Ghost of Tsushima, and that is a great game. That is a great game. I'm really waiting for it to drop down in price for me to buy it again on the PlayStation 5. But yeah, definitely a good pick. So you know what? Since I didn't really say who started first, I'll go first this time around. So
not like we care, anyways. Go ahead.
God damn.
I'm sorry, I don't have my meds.
Jesus Christ.
She went hard in the paint.
That's what I freaking care. It's like, okay. It's like, Jesus.
I have my Star Wars milk, so.
It's like, okay, well, I'll just pretend. So like, it's like, I can't fake today. It's like, it's just I just can't.
I'm done with y'all. I don't want to see you for like a month.
All right. But anyways, okay. So so to no surprise, here's my top three. You know, this one's probably going to be pretty the most predictable this year. There really wasn't, to me, a very big, like, you know, source of, like, you know, I usually like to kind of think of the ones that, like, the good secrets of like, you know, the good gems, like, you know, Stray and stuff like that, you know. But to say that it's like, you know, this is on that list this year, I don't think I can ignore like how good the AAA titles were, because this one, I mean, they did come in pretty hot, and even my disappointing title is not like was actually kind of like I have to look into it because like I was talking about it not that long ago, and I was just thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I think I would be very disappointed if I had to pay $60 for this game, and this is what I got out of it. So what? Starting my my third favorite game of the year, it's Elden Ring. Even though it's Game of the Year in the Video Game Awards, I love hard games. Did I make a mistake?
Yeah, that was not your number 3.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. That was my number 2. You're right. My mistake. Your expression showed me. I'm like, oh, was I wrong? It's like, yeah. So I was wrong.
I can't see, so it's all the city.
I haven't switched over yet.
Okay. All right. Well, 2 cats out of the bag on 2, but 3 is Ghostwire Tokyo. Excuse me. This game, I think, kind of fell under the radar kind of fast, but I think this is a really cool horror / suspense spooky game that came out in the beginning, I'd say the first half of the year. I think that this game actually has a merit to stay on. I mean, like one of our boys, Doc, played it, loved the game, like really loved the game. And I think that, and I tried messing around with it too, and I was like, you know what, the style and then the points of it kind of reminds me of Fatal Frame a little bit, but at the same time, it's like the story and stuff of like, you know, how he's trying to get like how his soul's in between the real world and the afterlife is very, very cool. I think that the way you traversed in the game was actually very fun, and I think that it wasn't too like wordy and stuff. It was very good action packed and stuff. For a brand new IP, I think Ghostwire Tokyo is actually is a fun game that people will easily overlook this year. That I think most people should definitely give it a try, and they'll be sorely surprised. And I will say this: I don't think this is worth the full price of the game. I think it's worth at least like a 50%, like a $30 or $40 towards it, because it is kind of short. But I think that overall, though you will get your money's worth at that level for the game itself. So yeah, so Ghostwire Tokyo is one. I think Lex, I think you should try that one out too. I think you may like it.
I've been thinking about it.
My second favorite one is definitely going to be Elden Ring. So
Really?
So Yeah, no, right? It's like stop the presses. So Elden Ring was like I said, I like playing hard games, and I like playing Dark Souls games. Theoretically, Elden Ring is not as hard as what previous Dark Souls games are. And especially when you beat the game, and then there's a new game plus, new game plus, and so on and so forth. It gets easier and easier because you have more and more stuff. But Elden Ring, something about Elden Ring that made it really, really good was the open world aspect of the world of of a Dark Souls like game that made you want to move around, made you want to look around in the areas and stuff, fight these crazy monsters. And the craziest thing about it is that there is a story. Because I'm more story oriented when I come to in my gaming. But there, like, the story in Elden Ring is kind of loose, but so you can easily just totally overlook the story and just wanting to go fight whatever the hell you're wanting to fight. But there is so much small little side quests, so many small little tidbits that you can actually do, or so many different kinds of things that you can find out. And then if you go through these small little chains of these small side quests on the sides, you may get this special ability or the special like item or runic stone or something that allow you to use it, that allow you to do something different and things like that. And then what's great about it even more is that not every person plays the same way in this game. Like there's so much diversity in this game. I mean, there's always going to be end game builds and stuff, but there's so much mixing and matching that you can do in this game that you can find your best way of your personal way of play. And that's what makes Elden Ring, like, that's why when they announced and they said that game of the year was Elden Ring, I wasn't mad. I was just like, you know what,
I wasn't
it's
either.
fair. Yeah, I think it's a fair. I mean, it was a fair thing. And to be fair, God of War did have only had like a month to prove itself theoretically, towards it. But like, and I think I think that it really did. I mean, in my own personal opinion. But to say that Elden Ring beat it, yeah, okay, that's fair. Because I mean, Elden Ring, like, if God of War was not released, hands down, Elden Ring would have won it.
It would have won, yeah,
with no doubts in my mind. For this year, so like, yeah, so Elden Ring has to be on the list this year, especially since I like to kind of play the tough games and stuff. What was it? Okay, my number one pick, I don't think it's not a surprise for anybody. God of War Ragnarok. I mean, I mean, like, we haven't even done the spoiler cast of God of War Ragnarok yet, and this game's storyline, and to me, because like I've said this before, excuse me, I've said this before a long time ago. I've hated the God of War series. I was not a big fan of the original God of War series when it first
came me.
Out. Well, I mean, it wasn't. It was two dimensional. It was way too two.
Yeah, no, but Greek mythology. I love Greek mythology, and that's why I loved
it. I do too, and that's why. And you know what? I need to play this whole series.
And you know what? And that's a good reason for you to like it. I just didn't really care much for it. I like Greek mythology, maybe not as much as y'all do, but I just think that he was just like a dude, was just an angry dude that just decided to break the walls down and just tear Greek, like, everything a new one, just but with barely any depth of story. But the fact that he was damaged, he came from Greek mythology to Norse mythology, and then he's realizing, and he's retroactively thinking back of his history as like of his private rage, and he's trying to be better from what he was initially doing it. That gives his character a depth that I would never have expected them to do. Like, and I think, and then what made it even work crazier is that he's trying to start to live again with a new child, new family, and stuff like that. And it's just like his old habits are starting to kind of, are always kind of kicking himself back in. So the story of this game is to the level of Last of Us Part 1. I just think that it's like, it's phenomenal storytelling. The music of it, the feel of it,
the music is really
sound design. sound design of it is just perfect on how they traverse you through the beginning to the end of the story. Now it's arguable that the last boss is not as good as the original one from the first one, but I mean, but still it's like not, I mean, it's still, he was there to tell the story of how a story, and it was a really good storytelling itself, especially how his boy was becoming a man, his own man into it, so
okay, you're gonna make me cry.
Dads
and for me right now is like a hot topic.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
it's
to.
Okay, I didn't know it was that in depth. Maybe I won't be playing this for like a year or two.
No, like it is. I'm sorry, but no, but that's exactly what I'm saying. The power of the storytelling is what makes, for me personally,
of course,
is very important to me, and this game, it just does it for me. The battle system through the game itself, the extra things that you can do, so many side missions that you can do, all of it, and all of it connects, all of its lore that you can connect into something else within it. It all fits together, which is impressive to me on this and stuff. So like, to say that the game that I hated the most when I was growing up, when to get to this level, thanks to Cory Balrog, with Santa Monica Studios. Oh my god, dude! This is literally going to be like one of my top is in one of my top 10s, like with Last of Us, because I would never have expected them to say that they would make Kratos be a guy that you actually wanting to root for, for this, and then if they're able to do that in the power of just of his storytelling, then God knows what they can do, and like if they make a new IP and stuff like that. So
right.
So God of War, hands down, Ragnarok is my favorite game of the year. I mean, there was no there's no way I could not that I can see any other game to beat that for me personally. So so that was mine. Now I guess the most disappointing game, that this is actually going to be kind of an interesting twist on a twist for me.
I think you and I might have the same one.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because I kind of went a different direction on this, and mine is Pokemon Violet and Scarlet and Violet.
Loved it.
You know what? I liked the story. I did. But like, I just cannot go over the fact that this game was so glitchy. This game is a AAA title. This game was a triple. Yeah, I know. So I know you love.
He was hyping it up last week, and now he's like, it's most disappointing.
No, this is honest. This is honest.
This is my.
Hey, I appreciate it. Well,
this is my whole thing. It's like, okay, so and don't get me wrong. This is what's kind of weird about it for me, because like, I think that this game is a fun game. It's a good game, but I can't give them a pass. You can't give like Nintendo a pass if they wanted to release something that's not complete like that. I'm very adamant, especially when you're dishing out $60 a game towards these kind of deals, and then you're doing these shortcuts. You didn't release what happened? What happened? You take so much good care of all of your IPs, your Marios, your Zeldas, your Donkey Kongs, all your big first party groups. How the hell is Pokemon not on that list? That's what doesn't make sense to me. Pokemon is y'all's leading selling game of all time now at this point, and yet you're still like, this game just cannot cut. You can't cut. I cannot give him a pass. That's yeah. And it's kind of funny to me, because like, it brings me back when we were like, when what's her name was talking about, like,
Trinetta?
No, not Trinetta. Faye, golly, went blank. Yeah, with Faye, like back in the day, about the previous generation on this, like how she was upset it was about like, they were just copying and pasting from what they used to have back on their handhelds, and they just put it on the system. They have been half-assing it. And it's very disturbing that's their mentality for a game that's this important, that's a pillar of their popularity. It's like it's unbelievable. Like, why can't they make a game like that's as strong as what like Zelda is? So like, I mean, like, yeah, I like the game, but I'm sorry, disappointing. This would be disappointing for me. And then like Nintendo was asking was giving refunds back for people who were like, no, we just can't. It's not acceptable. So, well, yeah, because like I hated the fact that I was telling you to tell Lucas to go and release that to go buy that game. So even though regardless of it, when I was thinking about it, I was like, that's just not like that should be. It's not right. That wasn't right. But like,
oh my gosh, so you're telling me that I need to go back and tell him not to?
No. I'm still just leave it the way it is. But like, I mean, I'm just saying that like when I was thinking about it, I'm like, how can I tell a person that this game is like just ignore all the glitches and stuff in this game, and then just let them say, and then just say, hey, just accept that it's going to get fixed eventually? Because that's, at the same time, that's the thing that I've hated the most, a game that's not complete, right, when you buy it $60 and then like, and I'm telling someone, oh no, give this one the pass. No,
that's why it was quite shocking to me to hear you even say that.
The rendering was that's like, so I'm just going back to my own my regular form of saying, no, this game does not have a pass for me. Pokemon Scarlet and what's it called is a mess. They fixed it. They fixed a lot. They fixed some of it. Still there though.
Smitty's doing the chicken dance, laughing so hard.
Yeah, that's what the dude did on the game.
He loves the video. The draw distance was turned to a 1 out of 100. Such a bad.
I love when they turn into like a giant monster trying to get on that little motorbike. Like, what is happening? Why is he now a giant Pokemon?
Yeah. To be fair, right now they did release a patch that fixed a lot of it. It's still, but there's a lot of it that's still there. So, but like, I'm just saying that they like, this is not acceptable. Not acceptable at all.
I was quite shocked to hear you say that, especially after watching this
video. This video probably is giving it the worst look. It's probably giving it the worst look of the game. It's not as bad as like. This is a compilation of all the glitches. Smitty can't watch this straight. Can't watch this compilation straight at all whatsoever.
I would have
this one.
I would have died.
Where'd you go?
But that's the thing. The fact that this is a full price game, AAA title coming out of Nintendo. This is just completely not what we expect and should not expect, especially for premium prices or anything that has such a long and storied past of games. Like, you cannot come out with a product like this. Like, you are directly affecting your consumer trust in your company and brand.
But they use the excuse of, well, the technology's just not there.
They're the one I'm sorry, technology.
What? Well, that was the crazy part.
Technology.
It's like the Switch
figure that out.
Didn't change. We didn't jump generations for the Switch. This is the same thing. You were building in this the whole time. What are you talking about? That's insane.
If it's going to be an issue, maybe, I don't know, don't make the goddamn game then.
If anyone knows what is the limitations of their own system, it's Nintendo. So don't say that it's like the limitations is on the system. You work around the limitations. It's simple as that. It's like, that's what you do. If you have, if you're putting more if you're putting more to what the system can do, that's not because of the game. That's because of you are being overzealous. So I mean, no, this is I don't count that as a freaking excuse for any reason. I mean, come on, guy. All right, so there we go. That is my picks for the picks for myself. So okay, so one of y'all can go choose. Y'all can choose.
Go ahead, Lex.
You or Smitty.
Okay. So man, it was so hard to like put them in order. And then I was told that a game from December of last year, which was going to be my honorable mention for number 1, could still be, because it was like right at the end of the year. All right. So my number 3 was Stray. I freaking loved that game. I loved being a cat. I've had one of the worst years of my life, and that brought me so much just unbridled childlike joy to play a cat without a butthole. I was having so much fun. I thought it was absolutely delightful, and, like, there was several times where I'm like, "Duh, you're a cat. Look up, genius, and start jumping." And there were points in the game where I'm like, "They make it look like I could jump around up there, but I actually can't." And I took a lot of extra hours trying to see, excuse me, if I could go certain areas, even though I was pretty sure that I couldn't, and that maybe I was just misreading. Because if you guys have ever been on a college campus, you've seen those like pigeon spikes. Well, they
Yeah.
have those on a lot of the upper levels. So like you can take this path, but then there's pigeon spikes and you can't go any further. So then to me, I'm like, well, can I jump across? I am a cat. My vertical is 5 times what I am. And so like I'm doing math in my brain trying to cat, and it was such unbridled joy. I had a lot of fun. There weren't a lot of times I now, as far as directional, it didn't really give me a, "Hey, this is the way you need to go, dingus." And I did feel as though a couple times I got a little lost, especially when I paused and then came back. Brain surgery, they can only fix so much. So I was having to leave little notes for myself like, "Hey, you've already tried to go up in this area. Don't do that again." But I thoroughly enjoyed Stray. I thought it was just, again, it was unbridled joy. Opie loved watching it. I wanted to see if I could get the cat to react if I meowed at her, if she would meow back at the screen, because my cat is a lover of the TV, but she's also aware that it's a program and not another animal. So I was a little saddened by that. But I absolutely yeah. Um I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I couldn't have been more happy with it. I wish it was a little bit longer. I do. That was the only thing I was sad. It was as short as it was. I liked the bad guys in it. I thought it was a perfect dynamic to how sweet and innocent you as a cat are, to have this almost this like little all-powerful creature as your bad guy, as your nemesis. And I thought that that was really fantastic in the way that they utilized you being a cat to keep them off of you, and how to do this, that, and the other. And it was really fun, and it almost like a puzzle in that area. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. That dang dog. What um my second game of the year. Man, this would have been my number one. This would have been my number one a month ago. I'm telling you that right now. The Quarry. 186 endings this game has. 186 endings.
What?
Now, this is the same company that created the Dark Anthology, and then the first one and I can never remember the gosh darn name, with Hayden Panettiere.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Thank you. I haven't played Until Dawn. I actually want to start a series where I play games with my best friend that are similar to Quarry and Until Dawn, which actually I want to play both of them with her. Because I think it would be fun for her to make decisions. There is 186 different endings. They have thought everything through, and I love that. They give you hints so that you don't miss something, but if you do miss something, don't worry, you're going to play it over and over and over and over again, because well, how are they going to change the ending, and what would happen if I would have, saved so and so instead of running away and leaving them. The storyline is so good, and a lot of times when you play a story-driven game, I feel like they give you too much information. There are things that are said that I don't need to know. I don't need to know. I didn't need to hear this conversation between Tina and Joe. Those aren't their characters, but I'm giving you an example. Between Tina and Joe, that was a pointless conversation that doesn't lead me into the storyline, and it has nothing to do with the story itself. They don't skimp on any information that you don't need to know. They keep things very secretive, and you're not giving additional information that you didn't need to know that could lead you down the wrong path, if that makes sense. I loved it. I thought it was done beautifully. I couldn't be happier. I didn't have any glitches in that game whatsoever. My computer needed a little tweaking to play it, but that was my bad, not the game's. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I have two number ones. My first one came out December of last year, and it's a little game called Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Davis said I could use it as my number one, but I already had another number one, so I'm going to let them share the spotlights. I've been a lover of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. They have dulled my senses to where nothing scares me anymore. Thank you, Five Nights at Freddy's. Opie is a Five Nights at Freddy's connoisseur herself. We play a game of how many times does she run out of the room. Security Breach was a totally new dynamic on the original take. I thought it was done beautifully. I thought everything that you did in that game served a purpose, and it was just so good. It was so good. I have played it 6 times since then offline. I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's obviously been out for, over a year at this point. So I don't want to give it away. I think if you haven't played Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, I think you should. I have gotten all of the endings, all seven. Yes, I believe it was 7. And they were all worth it. Make sure you save. Just randomly make sure that you save. That's all I'm going to say. My number one is Disney's Dreamlight Valley.
I could see that.
If y'all don't know, my dad passed away in May. And certain things were kind of distracting me at first. And then there wasn't quite a game that could do that for me. So there was like some news coverage, pop culture stuff that was going on that I was very into, but I realized it was keeping me distracted. And then Dreamlight Valley came out. This was my depression game. I believe I was one of the top 100 to finish the first group of content that they released. So there's been 2 content updates since then, which gives you 4 new characters. I've already almost finished this new content update. But there's so much that goes along with it. The storyline itself, you're not just in this valley where it's like, oh, it's Animal Crossing, but Disney. Oh, no. You can get things to where they are self-automated. Things do not go bad, like your produce, your fish, all of that, where like in Animal Crossing, it does go bad. That always frustrated me. Things don't get overgrown. Like you can go and play at your own pace. I would stay up for nights on end because I couldn't sleep. Obviously, I was grieving. And this game was like holding my hand the entire time. I loved it. I can't say anything bad. Now, I am playing on PC through Xbox Game Pass. I have a weird glitch. I have talked to other people who play through Xbox on PC. I've talked to people who are playing on an Xbox and that are playing on the Switch. None of them are having this issue that I'm having. Where I can't seem to unlock certain little critters on my island because you feed them and become friends with them. I have fed these little butt heads multiple times and it's like, nope. So it's just luck of the draw. But you know what? I'm going to continue to play the game and I'll get them eventually. It's really not that big of a deal. But I fully maxed out all my first 10 characters within like a 36-hour time period. It was like I got a special award for it. Like I was on a roll with this. I have waited with bated breath for these 2 content. Let me tell you, I wake up every morning. Do you guys know what I do? I put my robe on, I walk into this office, I get on my island, and I go around and pick up sticks and get resources and sell things so that I'm ready for the next content update so that I don't have to source things. I can just bing, bang, boom, and I'm done, right? I love this game. I think it is done beautifully. Yes, I happen to have some weird glitches. Maybe that's me. I haven't seen anyone else mention these, but I love it. I think it's beautiful. They've taken a lot of really great suggestions from people. for instance, there are lightning storms that happen. And at first, if you're I'm photosensitive. It was a little intense for me, but I'm not epileptic. I do have seizures though. And some other disabled gamer friends of mine were like, "Hey, Disney Dreamlight, you could possibly put people at risk for an epileptic seizure." They went back, they fixed it, they did a patch update just for that, and, they put a seizure warning, which it's so minimal now that I don't think it could cause somebody, but I'm glad that they put the warning out there. They seem to care about their community, and it's funny because and I've talked to Smitty about this, their advertisement shows a lot of characters. For instance, Belle. I love Belle. I love Beauty and the Beast. She is not in the game yet. And a lot of people have said, well, maybe that's false advertising. No, no, no. That just keeps me wanting to come back for more. Because though I do have 3 princesses on my island, and they are not who you think they are, that's for sure. I'm wanting more. And now with the new content update, the characters that I've already had reach level 10, now I'm going back and doing things for Wally, who was one of the first grouping of characters, and doing things for him, which is really cool. And he's one of my favorite characters. He's one of my dad's favorite characters. And I'll tell you, I bawled my eyes out last night after
That's
I made him
games as a service is, though, when you really think about it. I mean, like, it's not like it's like if the game is going to be continually changing, then there's no hurry on like
right. And not
out.
only just the storyline, and I feel like they don't really tell you about it in the previews. There is a secondary castle that you can see. You see a villainous version of you that's almost like a mirror realm. And there's a whole separate storyline in and of itself with that. Not just with the characters that are on the island that you were trying to make comfortable living here again, because you are the ruler. So that's my game of the year. My most disappointing game of the year. Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't really enjoy it. I thought it was beautiful. I couldn't see very well. It was either too bright or too dark. I couldn't get like a good mix between.
The flare back.
Yeah. I know that they did adjust that. It still was it was still a lot for me. I had to have Adam's help playing the game, and I was really sad because I was hoping of I now nothing can compare to Last of Us and their for what they do for disabled gamers playing this game. I know that, but I thought that the way they had talked it up, that it was going to be similar. Like, oh, you'll be able to change the font color and this and that for people who are photosensitive. This. And I was like, this is great. I'm so excited. Womp womp. I was so disappointed. Now, if you haven't played it, you may totally feel differently than me, because I'll tell you right now, my other games that were my honorable mentions were Bendy and the Dark Revival. I loved it. And Faith was on there as well, but you guys have heard me talk about Faith week after week after week, so obviously duh. But yeah, those are my top 3/top 5 and my most disappointing.
I'm kind of surprised with the with Horizon. Like, I mean,
you're surprised?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I mean, like, Horizon wasn't as good as what the original Horizon.
It didn't. It was lackluster. I didn't want to keep playing it.
Yeah.
10 hours in, I was like, really? Whereas Smitty all week long has been like, I cannot wait to keep playing Ragnarok. And I kept thinking, I wish I had felt that about Horizon Forbidden West. And I didn't. I didn't feel that way at all.
I mean, I think like Horizon, I will say Horizon's story was nowhere near as good, but like, yeah, I wouldn't like, I mean, those are 2 totally different kinds of games, I will give it, but like, it's I just think like the frame of reference with Horizon, I'm not trying to convince you in any way. It's whatever your decision is, it is. But I would say this: Horizon Zero Dawn, when Zero Dawn had a good footing for a brand new IP for the Horizon series. When Forbidden West came, it didn't feel like it improved on that said setting of it. God of War did the same kind of thing. I mean, God of War kind of had a brand new look of a character that already existed, but it was in a different twist. Then Ragnarok just made it even better. It just they went two totally different directions.
So I played the first one, and I'd played that with like sitting next to somebody. We were trading off playing it. I don't remember, and I took notes when I was playing that game too. I don't remember having issues with the light and dark. There were so many things that I enjoyed about the first game that were implemented into the second game that made it so much more difficult for me it was like I was playing it on my Game Boy Color, and the batteries are going dead, darks were too dark, light was too light, and I couldn't get my mixture to work well even with the update. And I was so disappointed because that took me out of it, right? I also didn't feel that the storyline was up to snuff. I don't think they captured the magic of the first one that I expect them to. Not really. But it was lackluster for me, and I was really wanting to enjoy it. And so I think that's why it's been missed. Now, do I think it's a beautiful game? Absolutely. Do I think if you like the first one, should you play it? Absolutely. Just go in with no expectations. And I think this is one of the few games I went in with expectations, and I was very disappointed.
Maybe did you see the DLC for Horizon?
I did. Yes.
Would that be something that you would want to try?
I don't know, because I haven't finished the game.
I'm on the air of that too. I'm like, I don't know if I care enough to wanting to, because like for Frozen Wilds came, I played it because it came. I didn't have Horizon when it came out, but now like I have Horizon Forbidden West, and I'm like, do I care enough to wanting to get the expansion of a game I kind of was lackluster about?
Right.
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Still thinking about that.
Yeah.
So. All right, well that's cool. Well, thank you, Lex. Good list there.
Sorry, I put you to sleep there, buddy.
I put you to sleep? I wasn't asleep, was I?
I mean,
I'm like trying to think of myself.
You look like you were getting there. Just a little bit.
I didn't even see it.
You poor thing. Okay. You don't feel good either, though. So I feel you. I've sneezed about 16 times since we've gone live.
Don't worry, I'm about to blow your guys' face off with my picks here. So
you're going to blow your pants off.
That's right. That's right. My number 3 pick for this year definitely has to go to a game I wasn't anticipating, and it is Live Alive. I had so much Live Alive. I had so much fun playing this game. Speaking of anthologies, and really, something about this game, like you play in different time periods, and each story is unique on its own, and then essentially there's an overarching story on top of these sub stories, and it was just so much fun and very unique game, and just to play. And I love a good RPG that just gets me in, and to be able to play, each one is different, so they don't even play the same or anything like that. And I felt like it was such a really unique way for this game, for a game to be presented, and I had a blast playing it. And I don't play a lot of Switch games, but this is a game that kept getting me back to turn on my Switch and go and play it. So number 3 for me, Live Alive. If you were on the fence about it, I highly recommend that game. That it was really good. Beyond what Davis coughing. And hold on, I just remembered too that I gotta do that so I don't blow my stuff.
Was that muted? I don't.
No, you haven't been muted the whole time that you've been coughing and making.
I've been pressing the mute button on my thing. It wasn't even doing anything.
No, you're just coughing into our ears. It's okay, buddy.
Oh my
we still love you.
I'm so sorry.
Isn't there good luck editing that out?
I am so sorry. No, actually, I can, because like I have them on separate audio tracks.
Yeah, no, I know. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. You can...
I'm so sorry.
Rude ass.
Okay. Number two for me. And if you've been to my streams or whatever, we got to enjoy this together. But for me, it had to be As Dusk Falls. I had a blast playing this game. It again, I love a good narrative as well.
Game about my boyfriend.
I mean, this was just so much fun, and the fact that I had the pleasure of being able to interview Carolyn Marshall, who it's her studio that they created. She created this studio to make this game, and in mind, it was always meant to be multiplayer, co-op. The streaming stuff from the jump off of development, they already knew that they were going to be doing that. So
full interactive Twitch streaming.
Yes, yes, dude. And that's the crazy part about it, how much foresight they put into this. But this story, everything about it, I need to get some more playthroughs of it. It was just a lot of fun to be able to play this on stream. People in stream, being able to, influence choices. If you had someone here physically, they could physically be here co-op. They could do it off their phone. They could do it physically through the game. Like, the amount of options and the accessibility, because I know they did win an award at the Game Awards yesterday as well. I thought it was going to be for innovation, but it ended up being I can't remember exactly what it was, but definitely well earned. If you have not had a chance, this was on Game Pass too. It probably is still on there. Highly recommend playing this if you love a good story and those kind of choose your own adventure deals. This game is one for the books for sure.
I think it's like most impactful or something like that.
Okay, yeah. It was just, it was so good. It was so good. It really stood out to me.
I watched your playthrough of it, and that's why I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. And then I know the people came in and watched you stream it too.
Yeah.
And, they were like, oh, dang, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. And I'm kind of like Lex. I couldn't, obviously there's obviously so for me, in terms of my number one, I too have to choose, you already know what it's going to be, Boy of War, because it was so gosh damn good. It's hard, like the story's good, the gameplay's good. I've always been a fan of the God of Wars from the jump off. I was kind of a little iffy with them switching from Greek mythology to Norse mythology, because I am much more entrenched, I feel, in Greek mythology than I would say Norse mythology. But it's also got me to learn more about Nordic mythology as well, which is nice. And I did, there's a lot of there's not crossover, but like you can kind of, there's a bit of crossover when it comes to things and how that stuff works and that mythology versus the other one. So I'm still enjoying it. We all know, those characters. There's characters that you are familiar with in some respect or another. You've heard about them, you've heard the name or whatever. So having that connection is a ton of fun. The battle, and that's a big thing about God of War, like it's got to be a brutal, like you got to be able to, like it's got to have some brutality to it, and it absolutely hits the spot brutality wise. But Davis is spot on. This story is gorgeous. Again, I'm grinding through finishing it, but it is, from what I've experienced so far, it is just so damn good, and I'm just I can't stop. I basically can't stop wanting to get in and know how the story completely plays out. So obviously God of War was there, but there was another one, and this is where I'm kind of, this one's probably gonna mess you guys up a little bit. I'm having a hard time believing it, and I'm not quite gonna go, because this is also number one for me so far, and what it is, this is gonna fuck you guys up, it is Marvel Snap. It is.
What the hell's wrong with you,
dude? It is so freaking addicting. I can't stop playing it, dude. I can't stop playing it, dude. There's not many games, especially not a mobile game, although it is on Steam as well. There is.
I'm saying that Snap is bad.
It is good, dude.
You're tying Snap.
It is. I have to within terms of playing and within how I am. Again, I have to, obviously, the obvious for God of War, but I cannot deny this game, dude. I cannot freaking deny it. And I haven't even been playing it that long. It hasn't even been out that long. But in terms of, I'm not even really a card player game, but anyone that has any kind of love for Marvel, within the battle system and how this game works, they're quick ass like six turn matches. The centerpieces change and they dictate different rules or stipulations or whatever within it. So like, dude, you can crank these out. I literally was on the couch. I played on the couch in the dark for like 2 hours straight. Didn't even realize it. Ended up only getting like 2 hours of sleep because baby got up hella early. And you know, that was partly why I was so tired this week. But I can't, like, free moments of time. I'm not even watching YouTube like when I'm going to burn one, dude. You know what I'm doing? Pulling out my phone. I'm playing some Snap. And then I'll sit there and I will just sit outside playing Snap. It's so good. It's so good. I can't deny it. I can't deny it. So that's what
I don't even know what to say.
I know that you're gonna feel that way, but that's right, dude. I have to give it love because that love,
hey, you know what?
Is due, man.
Put it on your list anywhere you want it, but to say that you're saying that you're comparing it to like number one like Ragnarok is my beef.
He's saying that's the one that's getting him though. There's a difference.
Exactly.
But also,
number two.
I'm not
they are wanting to know what level you are on Snap.
I am right now. I'm 40. I want to say. Sorry, I just have a picture of Davis up because I'm trying to. Sorry,
listen, guys. That's what I'm saying. It sounds like I'm
Thank you,
bragging on Snap, Riz, but I'm not. I am not, because it's a good game. I played it. I played a little bit of it, and it was like I could easily see it. My problem is. Is like he's like can you imagine like if you're seeing game of the you're putting Snap to that level of like say either God of War and that I'm just like wow Smitty you're putting it pretty
that's how dude really I'm high. Telling you I am absolutely putting it high. That is how enthralled I have been on this game. Again, I am not a mobile gamer. I am not a card gamer. You know,
this is
really
his
at
Streamlight
all.
Valley.
Like seriously, like I have been dumping hours into it. Like I was playing God of War, but on the side I was also playing Marvel Snap. Like I can't even deny that while I'm playing God of War. That's how I knew, dude. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, there's loading time. Let me go play a game of Marvel Snap. You know, just in case.
I mean, it's legit, but let me hold on real quick. Let me get to my disappointment. And I don't feel that anybody should be surprised by this, or at least I don't feel. Maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. I don't know. But I am actually in the same boat as Lex. My big disappointment was for Horizon Forbidden West. It did not hit the mark for me. And again, this is what I'm talking about. A game like this, the fact that it can't keep me enthralled to come back says a lot to me. That says everything to me. It's just not, again, it's a gorgeous game. Mechanically, it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with the game. It was just disappointing to me, and it didn't do enough.
Lackluster.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Wrong with the game.
He said, actually, there was something wrong.
There was.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you remember the podcast, the spoiler cast that we did? Like, which, by the way, folks, if you don't check out our spoiler cast of Horizon Forbidden West, because that is basically telling you, because like we all unanimously said this game is not as good as what the original one was.
No, it did not bring us back wanting more.
This game did not want, it did not give us a drive to be like, wow, they want to see what it is for the ending. But I'm sorry, I interrupted myself.
I think we even discussed that if there was a DLC that none of us would play it.
Yeah.
And
I totally agree.
That's kind of where I'm at right now, for sure. With that seeing that there's a DLC did not get me excited, and this is a big thing. My biggest issue with it was that mechanically there was a lot of the same things from the first game and whatnot, but it just didn't do enough. Especially with the technology, I was very disappointed in the haptic feedback. You've got this thing that you've been talking about and boasting. You know that this is in there, and there's so much more I felt that could have been done with the controller for this game than they did.
I didn't have that.
And you didn't even have that.
Oh, that's right. You didn't.
That's
right.
No, I was playing on PS4. You guys were all playing. Oh, I played keyboard and mouse technically, but yeah.
Right.
It really wouldn't matter because it didn't do anything.
It didn't.
Haptic.
That's what you guys were saying. Because I was ready to go over to Smitty's and be like, "Hey, can I hook up downstairs and play while you're working?" And you're like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then I think you were an hour in. You're like, "Don't bother." I was like, "Oh," you were like, "There's nothing." I was like, "That's the whole point, right?"
Right. Exactly. Well, that's part of the. I mean, it's a fantastic feature that should be. That could help to support games and enhance the games, and it didn't happen. This was just, again, I'm not saying it's not a good game. It was just, for me, it was disappointing, and it didn't do enough for me. Again, this is the big difference between a sequel and I think also time has something to do with it a little bit. There's a lot of time from Horizon Zero Dawn, and then the DLC, and then the second game that came out, and within that time span I cared less about Aloy. Basically, as a character, I cared less about the world. I just didn't. It didn't, and you could see you could take time and come back and come back with some fire, but it didn't have that fire like God of War. Again, to me, the story's it's gotta be lit, especially for a sequel. What do we know? What do we learn about films for the most part? Majority of sequels, they just get worse and worse. So they just become a carbon copy almost of the original reason why you love something anyway, and that's kind of how it felt for me. So
But when we say it like that, and then but look at what, was that time between Horizon, this around the same kind of time between God of War? I'm legitimately
or even
asking.
Last of Us.
Yeah,
wait, what?
Last of Us 1 and Last of Us
2 had a longer period in between,
had a longer
right?
period. Yeah, it did.
Right.
It did.
And the love for that was still even just as great, I want to say.
See, but I had a differing opinion, because I no longer had the same affinity for Ellie as I did the first time I played through it. And then I had a very different, and all of a sudden, that to me was amazing, because I have never had such a change of opinion on a character in anything. This includes films, as I did with Abby. Yes.
Oh, Abby. Yeah.
With Abby. Yes.
Ravage is going to go off in the comments if we keep talking about Last of Us too, because he had some choice words. But yeah, but even then, I think the Last of Us series had a longer span, and people were itching to play this, and I felt like, are people itching to play this too? And it was so lackluster for me.
Last of Us, but this is coming from Last of Us Part 1, from which I said Last of Us Part 1 had one of the best stories in gaming, one of the best setups of a story that
I don't disagree, but I think Last of Us 2 hit the same mark for me.
Well, yeah, but that's agree to disagree on that. But I'm just saying the level of Part 2 is because of that anticipation of Part 1 that hyped people up to wait for number 2 to come out. But Horizon didn't have that same kind of appeal. I can kind of see where Smitty's coming from with that, because I can kind of agree, because I kind of forced myself to get into the world again with Horizon, as opposed to being like, wow, we did all of this stuff in the first one and we're continuing on from that adventure to this one to hype me up to be like, okay, I can't wait till number two comes out. But then so I can kind of understand where the whole deal is with it, you know. So but you know what's funny? Donk actually asked a question earlier that I kind of left that we didn't ask you, Smitty. But how much if you're wanting to disclose it, you don't have to. But how much money have you spent in Snap so far?
$0.
Zero. He
I haven't spent a penny.
It.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
I have not spent a penny in it. I don't feel that I have a need to. I mean, other than because I don't think you can. There's not a way to. Everything is cosmetic to the cards. Like they become animated and things like that. But I don't believe that you can like directly outright buy cards. At least I haven't seen anywhere. Well, you kind of can. They do have packs, or they do have things that you. I've seen some like a starter pack thing that said that it comes with a card or something like that. But all I've done is, if I spend any money, it'll be on the season pass thing, on the battle pass thing, whatever their thing is, because you do get more. There's more rewards you get that I see now that I'm locked off from. That you can open up with it, and it's like $10. I think it's like $10.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's what I just did when you were talking about that. That's like I was like, okay, I installed Marvel Snap on my phone, on my thing.
It's on. Yo, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do a Marvel Snap stream. I seriously, dude. Like I have so much fun because it's almost like playing chess, but with cards you're familiar with and all the different like things that you can do and like combos and stuff and like. It's sick.
I really hope this goes through, but I really Marvel Snap. We need to get sponsored. Just let us know. We'll do stuff for you.
But this one is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
That's right.
I am dead serious. I'm trying
Marvel
my butt off.
If we get
Marvel Snap, yeah. If we get that,
it's good, dude.
CFG,
it's good.
Yeah. Okay, man. I'll see it. But no, I can understand. I'm actually surprised that one thing I will say is that I kind of gathered from all of this is that the most disappointing games for us were the AAA titles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting that that's what we kind of all kind of agreed on with that for the most part. I'm just kind of interested inside the chat if y'all agreed on our of our picks or but let alone what games were y'all inside the chat interested in playing, what was y'all's game of the year?
Nobody was really disagreeing with the commentary that we said, so I don't think that they disagreed with us. I don't know if everyone's played the same games because obviously I play a little bit more obscure games, but also a couple people were late, so maybe we should go over real quick like what our picks and our disappointments were real fast.
Okay, so basically my picks were was Ghostwire Tokyo was my third. Second one was what's it called? Geez, I went blank.
Elden Ring.
Oh, thank you. Elden Ring, and number one was God of War. With my disappointed pick was Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, for obvious reasons.
Yep. My number 3 was Stray. Number 2 for me was The Quarry. And number 1 had a tie: Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach and Dreamlight Valley. My worst disappointing game of the year was Horizon Forbidden West.
And my number 3 was Live Alive. Number 2, As Dusk Falls. And then tied for me at number 1, God of War and Marvel Snap. And my disappointment was also Horizon Forbidden West.
Air 5, buddy.
Yeah.
It was
no.
Scratching my bad.
Scratching the beard. He's just like, I got a beard I need to scratch.
We did.
That's the biggest thing.
We did 3, 2, 1. What our
3,
top?
2, 1.
Yeah. What our tops were for the year, and then.
But I did have Benny and the Dark Revival, but it didn't beat out Stray for me, so I had to put Stray in because cats without buttholes. So
I just think that the whole thing. Yeah, I just think that the whole thing. I think this year, from the most part was a mediocre year overall.
It was a hit and a miss for me. I felt like a lot of the games that came out, the
They-
ones that I was excited for,
I
crashed
just
and
had
burned.
no hype. I just had no hype for it
No.
this year at all whatsoever. Like, I mean, the only surprise, not even really a surprise. I knew Ragnarok when Ragnarok was said.
I knew Ragnarok was going to be fantastic.
Well,
I haven't played it.
For the longest of time, I didn't believe Ragnarok was going to come out this year.
That's
so like
true.
I will admit to that. So I didn't really thought that they were going to put their word and say like, oh no, we're going to release it out this year. So I assumed that this winter was going to be nothing for the most part. And then prior to that, like the only thing, like I just assumed Elden Ring was going to just clean sweep for the game of the year. No doubts. So Donk on 53.
I did have a couple of honorables. Mine were Sifu and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Because I really
that was one of my honorable mentions. I haven't finished Tiny Tina's.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I guess the only honorable mention I have was the only honorable mention I have was Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. That's legit.
But other than that, like it's just like I just think that it wasn't like, there wasn't as many as I wanted it
2022 was supposed to be spicy, and a lot of what was supposed to come out, and 2023 is going to be spicy. That's going to be the spicy year.
2024, because I tell you that some of those games are going to
it'll continue. It probably will, but because there's already that gap now, a lot of what we were supposed to get this year is not going to end up dropping, or is going to end up dropping next year. So I think it's going to be, we're going to have some loaded months starting from February. You know what I mean? With there's a few things coming out in the February time, but this year it kind of felt a little underwhelming overall. Obviously, there was plenty to keep us entertained and playing. It was kind of nice to have a little bit of a lull. I felt like it really showed what was out there and really put a spotlight on the games that did come out and that did well, and some that did not do so well.
Yeah, I think that it's the biggest thing. So who knows? We'll see. We'll definitely see. But we had a really great 2022, and also I will admit this though too, guys. We had a awesome 2022. Thanks for the viewers who are listening to us on Twitch.tv as well as Spotify, which I got my end of the year Spotify 20 this year, which is actually pretty fun.
Nice.
And stuff. So like, I just want to thank everyone who was a part of it, helping us grow, letting folks know about us, which is really cool. So we're getting some stuff and things in the works to hopefully make it grow even more next year. This is our third year, which is crazy to think of. Like that we've been doing this for 3 years already, and as consistent as it has been. So but we're just wanting to make it even grow even more, and try to get more eyes to, or ears and eyes to listen to it. Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for an awesome 2022. And let's cheers on for 2023 next year. So we'll be back again next month in mid-January. Probably, I don't even want to know.
We don't know yet. We have
mid-January.
Yeah, we've got like a floating
like
timeline.
Yeah.
We'll let y'all know. Don't you worry.
Yeah. F in chat for Stadia. It's funny, Mr. Seven Figures. It's funny. Like we were talking about when Stadia was going away. Since I actually purchased the Stadia, Google, to their credit, Google gave me all my money back. They gave me my money back for the starter pack, and they gave me my money back for all the games that I had on my Stadia. So
looks like same with Donk.
Yeah. So even though they knew they were in the wrong in that way. So I'm really glad that they did that. So that was all good. So but folks, Thank you for listening to episode number 159 of the CFG Game Cast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. As always, we will be back in 2023. But in the meantime, you can always check us out on any podcast services like Apple, Google Podcast, Stitch Radio, Podbean, so much more. Or if you missed this episode, that is perfectly okay. We release it every Monday mornings at the beginning of each and every week. So there is absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices.
Hi.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. And also, just to be sure, check out our main website, freaksandgeeks.com, to check out some of the awesome reviews and interviews that we like to do each and every time we go out on the out in the field. Next year it's going to be a crazy, since travel is now completely lifted lifted now, so this is going to be fun. So once again, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing off in 2022. Y'all take it easy.
Happy holidays.